So I oftentimes get a client that'll come to me and say, "Oh no, Wade, I just got served a restraining order. Does this mean I can't go back home?" The short answer is most of the time a restraining order does not kick someone out of the home. There are exceptions to that, and I'll cover those later in this video. However, most restraining orders are based upon some injunctions that are provided under Texas law. So basically, the Texas legislature, through the Texas Family Code, created a laundry list of injunctions that are kind of automatic. So if you present them to the judge will sign them in all divorce cases. The restraining order basically says you're not allowed to withdraw money from major accounts like your retirement. You're not allowed to sell any property. You're not allowed to communicate with the other party in a threatening or harassing manner. It doesn't say you can't communicate with them, but you can't do it in a threatening or harassing manner. It says that you can't withdraw the children from school. You can't suddenly move the children out of their current place of abode. You can't turn around and drain the family savings account. You can't run up the credit card. You can't cut off the other person from a credit card that they are used to using. You can't prevent someone from using their own vehicle. You can't prevent your spouse from entering and enjoying the use of the house. These are just a few of the things that are generally in a temporary restraining order. These restraining orders you often see in Tarrant County. A lot of the surrounding counties, including Wise, Parker, Denton, Dallas, Ellis, and most of the other counties, have all taken the exact same restraining order and created what they call a standing order. So they took the exact language and they put it into a document, and all the judges signed that document. It's called a standing order of Wise County or standing order of Denton County. They require that these standing orders, which are the same as a temporary restraining order, be attached to every pleading in a family law case. So if you're filing a petition for divorce, it's going to be attached to the petition. If you're filing a suit affecting the parent-child relationship or custody case, it's going to be attached to the suit affecting the parent-child relationship. If you're filing a modification or enforcement, it's going to be attached. They require it to be attached in all cases. And in those situations, those restraining orders are automatically in effect the minute you file the case against both parties. So it's in effect against mom, dad, husband, wife, and so forth. In Tarrant County, however, we have not adopted such standing order. We did for a short period during the COVID time, but Tarrant County has gone back to the normal temporary restraining order. So you actually have a separate document from your petition that gets signed by the judge and you get served with it. So in Denton County, Wise County, Dallas County, you get served with a petition for divorce, and those restraining orders are attached as an exhibit. In Tarrant County, however, you'll get served with two separate documents. One would be, say, a petition for divorce, and a separate one would be the temporary restraining order. This is why people get involved in cases here in Tarrant County get a little confused when they get a temporary restraining order. However, I tell clients all the time, let me look at it, and if there's anything extraordinary, we'll talk about it. Most of the time, 90% of the time, it's a standard temporary restraining order. It doesn't prohibit you from doing anything that you usually do. You can go to your home. You can go to your work. You can take out money for reasonable and necessary living expenses. You can use your credit cards for normal, reasonable, and necessary living expenses. You can take out money or use your credit cards for attorney's fees. However, you can't take out money to plan that next trip to Hawaii. That would be in violation of the restraining order. Okay, so the temporary restraining order will usually also have something like a date in it. That's your date for your temporary order hearing. Temporary restraining orders, by nature, are only good for 14 days. Now, the standing orders that you see in other counties like Wise County, Denton County, Dallas County, so forth, those are in effect for the entirety of the case. In Tarrant County, however, the temporary restraining order, since it's a separate document signed by the court, is only good for 14 days. That is why you'll have a date within the temporary restraining order for a hearing on a temporary orders hearing. That's what it's called. So the temporary restraining order will be good generally until that temporary orders hearing. Now, earlier in this video, I mentioned that sometimes a temporary restraining order may go further. It may prohibit you from going home. It may prohibit you from possession and access to your children. It may prohibit you from going near your children's school. Those are temporary restraining orders with what we call extraordinary relief. So they're not the standard temporary restraining order. Granted, they'll have most of the standard temporary restraining order stuff in them, but they'll also have extra orders in them that gives extraordinary relief, like prohibiting you from seeing your children or prohibiting you from going to your home. So those types of restraining orders, temporary restraining orders with extraordinary relief, they are much harder to get. So if I were to try and seek a temporary restraining order of that nature with extraordinary relief, I would have to file a petition with the court seeking whatever I'm seeking, divorce, modification, custody, whatever the case may be. And I would have to attach to that petition an affidavit from my client. The affidavit has to mention facts and circumstances that support the granting of a temporary restraining order with extraordinary relief. So for example, if my husband or spouse recently got arrested for DWI while driving with the child in the car, I might want to present that to a judge and ask for a temporary restraining order that prohibits my spouse from driving the children at all. I might even ask for no contact with the spouse. Generally, to get these extraordinary relief temporary restraining orders, you have to have pretty severe facts in your affidavit to get the judge to sign the extraordinary relief temporary restraining order. So just because you're mad at your spouse or just because your spouse yelled at you the other day, that is not going to give you grounds for an extraordinary relief temporary restraining order. It has to be something that shows that there's an immediate danger to property or an immediate danger to maybe a child or a spouse. So those are the differences between a temporary restraining order, a standing order as you see in other courts, and the extraordinary relief temporary restraining order. I hope this helps you understand the temporary restraining order. Remember, if you get served with something like that, your first step is to contact a family law attorney to have them look at it to see what you can and can't do. And speaking of family law attorneys, we have the best family law department in all of DFW right here at Varghese Summersett. Give us a call at 817-900-3220. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Otherwise, you can find us at familytexas.com.